Hello everybody, today we're going to do a reseller Q&A video on Poshmark, my life, reselling in general. You guys asked on Instagram and my YouTube community page, so I've got the answers for you. Stick around and we'll get into it. Hello everybody and welcome back to today's video. My name is Blake, aka PoshBossBlake, and welcome back to the channel. And I hope you are having a fabulous day. Happy Friday, a day of fries. I am excited to do this Q&A. As I mentioned, Instagram and my YouTube community page is where I did a little survey and wanted to know what you guys wanted to see today. I am still in Los Angeles, which I will answer in a moment, but if you guys want to interact with me, I'm really starting to use the YouTube community page. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. And give this video a thumbs up so you can see me. And feel free to hit the bell if you want to know when I put out a new video, which is every Friday. So let's dive right into it and we'll talk about Los Angeles. Living _ our best life and Veronica Mitk. Hey Veronica. They both kind of wanted a little update / why am I in LA currently? Well, that's because I'm doing a little 2-week work project and it required me to be in LA. When you're seeing this, I'll be back in New York next week. And you know, that's really that simple. I've been here for almost 2 weeks. That's the length of time that I've been out here. And it's been nice to be away from this, the snow. Although I think when I go back, there's gonna be like a little snowstorm. So nothing like a nice winter chill to bring me back. But yeah, that's why I'm in LA. Not moving back yet, or no plans. That wasn't like a fun comment. I am here for 2 weeks for work, so that's that. Thrifty Mama Law said, your dimples. Oh my god, thank you. Ooh, they're like extra dimply today. I'm loving them too. Thank you so much. So for those of you who are new to the channel or I haven't witnessed me do this, I do sing. I sing a bunch. I sing during my videos. I'm gonna start to incorporate that into my social media because I'm learning people love it. But the username on Instagram, Flying Tent House and something, Flying 10 House and I'm sorry, it's cut off on this Instagram thing. But reseller shout out song, I need more of your singing. So let's start this video before we go further with a little song. Let's do reseller singing. I'm gonna resell and sing. I'm reseller singing. Oh yeah, I'm reseller singing. Oh, I'm reseller singing. Oh, and what do you sell? Oh, all sorts of things, all sorts of things. Clothes, handbags, and jewelry. Clothes, handbags, and jewelry. Oh my god, you guys. That was going somewhere. I think I need to... Do I need to record a song? Do I need to record a song and put it on TikTok for people to use? Oh my god, sorry for the silence, but like, maybe that's something I'll do. Sorry, it's shaky. Okay, so I hope you liked that. I'm gonna work on some more originals and stay tuned. Let's shift to the next question, which is about pricing for your reselling items. Posh Tan Laundry says, how do you do your pricing? Do you participate in closet Clearout, send offer to likers, etc.? So yes, I do all of those things. These are on Poshmark. For those that don't know, Poshmark has like sale day incentives, which are like every other day, seemingly every day, but mostly every other day. With closet Clearout, which is when you can drop the price at least 10% of your item, and anyone who's liked the item will get a notification that says, hey, you know, Blake dropped the price to X% on whatever item, plus we're gonna give you discounted shipping. Closet Clearout is great because the shipping discount comes from Poshmark, not you as the seller, which is nice. So it's like Make a Deal days, but it's not. Downside to Closet Clearout is once you drop the price, if you wanted to like, and no one bought it, and you wanted to like raise it again so people didn't like want to get a better price in theory, the challenge is unless you relist that item completely brand new, you have to keep dropping the price for that discount to be sent out. So say something's $50, you do 10%, like what is that? 45-ish? 40, something, you know, whatever the 10% is. Say it's 45. Now, the next time you want to do that, you have to do another 10%. You can't go back up to 50 and then drop it to 45 again. It doesn't work like that. So that's just something to keep in mind. I think for offer to likers, which is similar concept, except you don't have to drop the price publicly. You can send a private offer. So say you, the viewer, were watching an item I have. I can send you an offer. If the item, again, is listed at 50, I can send you a discount for 40, but I have to give you discounted shipping. Not full free shipping, but I do have to give you some sort of discount. So that's like the crummy part about that. So anytime there's actually like, I'll do this for higher end items. If someone likes my items and it's a pricier, like higher profit margin item, I'm talking like, you know, over $100, etc. I will seek out who is especially recently liking, like if it's a closet clear out day and someone liked the item that day, I'll put that into a bundle and say, hey, today's closet clear out on Poshmark, which means I dropped the price and you will get a discounted shipping rate. If I dropped it to XYZ amount, would you be interested? 8 times out of 10, that circumstance works for me. I would not say, don't spend your time doing that for everything. Like that is a very time consuming thing. My closet is not that big right now, so I can do that. But that's definitely a sales tactic. In terms of pricing, I think pricing plays a part into all of, you know, the entire nature of the business. Obviously, that's how money is made. Pricing, I think, I've talked about this in a previous video on how to, you know, increase your sales on Poshmark, and I'll link that video up here. Check it out after this video. Something you need to remember is to price your items accordingly. Now, if you're trying to sell, whether you're doing this part-time, full-time, if you're trying to sell and like, you know, get the items in and out, you're gonna wanna price competitively. So say, because I have it, even though it's, this polo, right? Let's say this polo was brand new with tags and I have it listed for $50, right? I'm not giving a brand, but you know, let's pretend it's $50. If I see online that there are other polos like this, maybe with the same size, already on Poshmark, listed for $50, and I'm trying to sell, what I will do is see what the lowest price is of the available options. By the way, sorry, it's very windy out today. I don't know if you can hear that. It's like crazy windy. Rattling the house windy. Oh my God. Wow, it's windy. Lost my train of thought. Say you are, I will, back to the polo. I will research on Poshmark or any online marketplace actually. I will look at Poshmark and say, okay, there are 4 other polos identical to this with the same size that I have. One is 50, one is 45, one is 42. What I'm gonna do is go in like at a nice, I don't know, between $35 and $39, because I want someone to see me. I want the shopper who's looking for the lowest price to come to me, and you know, it's a competitive price. Now, does that work all the time? Absolutely not. Maybe your item, it could just be that like an item might not sell, or it could be the exact opposite. Someone finds your item, they like how you have your listing curated, your pictures, etc., and they might go with you. You might be higher price, totally fine. But I think ultimately, if you want to be competitive and have like quick turnaround, price competitively. Don't price crazy. You know, if this is, you know, if you want to list this at 50, the value is really like, let's say 115. Don't list it at 115. Special circumstances apply, but like for the most part, list competitively, don't price crazy. And remember, just because something is expensive, it does not mean it will sell for an expensive price. This includes luxury, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Cezanne, like any brand. Just because it's a high price tag does not mean it will retain its value, okay? So that was actually a great question. Thank you, Posh Tan Laundry. And we're gonna shift over to some YouTube questions. So Lisa, I don't know if she wants me to put her last name, but we'll say Lisa S. She asked a couple questions. She asked about the algorithm, and specifically she said, I recently, I'm curious about the algorithm. I want to know if other Poshers, how they feel about it. Last week I had 5 sales and took me 6 days just to get to the post office. Yikes, I know. Let's increase the shipping time. Just a friendly recommendation, but clearly you know that that's like a little long. And during that time I felt completely ignored by the algorithm. No likes, shares, despite listing 20 new items during that time. I'm beginning to think the app is smarter than we think. And is aware of how active we're being beyond self-shares and punishing/rewarding us accordingly. So, it's a computer, so like, it's not necessarily smarter, but it is like correct. It's like mathematically curating and pumping out and favoring people who contribute to the algorithm. This goes for honestly any platform, including YouTube, which is a challenge sometimes. But I think ultimately, with the couple things that were said in here, I had 5 sales that took me 6 days to get out. Well, that's one thing. Shipping time is a part of the Poshmark experience, so you want to be within that 1 to 2 day shipping range. I'm not sure if you did this. This necessarily wasn't the point of the question, but anytime it goes beyond the 1 to 2 days, even if it's maybe not going beyond the 2 days, but there may be a chance, I will always just reach out in a bundle and tell the buyer, hey, like I did this before I came to LA. There was a snowstorm, so I was like, I'm not sure if this will get out within the next 2 or 3 days because we're stuck. So, we'll let you know, but aiming to get it by the end of the week. So I definitely recommend that if you're not able to ship it out immediately within 1 to 2 days. So that's that part of the question. You feel ignored by the algorithm despite listing 20 items. Well, I think part of this, and this is not just like, you're doing it wrong. It is not that at all. Ultimately, there's like not one person who's like got the right answer here. It's all sorts of things. But consistency is key. Congrats that you got the 20 items listed. That's great. Whether you can do 20 or 200, 2,000, like whatever it is. I think consistency is key. So maybe the algorithm likes patterns and consistency. I know I just said that multiple times, but like if you're doing 20 items in a 5-day period, are you doing 4 or 5 items a day? Because that will show some consistency, like a number-wise. Or if you're just doing listings 1 time a week, are you doing all your listings on one certain day and just keeping it that day? That will help. In terms of getting shares of your closet and your items beyond you, I would say, are you sharing your closet? Because as much as it's, friendly to share other people's closets, ultimately you need to share your closet. You're trying to sell your item, and the second you share someone else's closet, oh my God, it's so windy. If this is your item in the algorithm, and then this is, a closet that you're sharing, you share your closet, and then you share your other person's closet. In theory, based on what we know, your item is now notched down, and just, you want to keep sharing your closet. I can't say it enough. You want to make your sales, right? Think about everything you're doing for your closet. Just sell, your closet, share, your closet. Something else that people sometimes forget is use the platform for yourself as a consumer. I'm not saying you need to buy stuff on Poshmark all the time. I probably do once every couple of months, just depending on what it is. Maybe it's a little more. It's definitely more during the holiday season, but just also use the platform as a consumer. You don't need to spend a ton of money. We know this. But yeah, speaking of money, that brings us to our second question from Lisa S. She says, what do you think about the idea that buyers on Poshmark don't spend more than $30 to $40 on anything? Anything I list for over $40 just sits there, even though I know it's worth way more. Ooh, Lisa S. This is a bit of a loaded question. So I immediately disagree with your statement because I sell plenty of things over that price point. That's the majority of my business. So what do I think about that? I think that is a false claim. But I do think if you are experiencing this issue, I would seriously look at how you're building your listings. Do you have a good title? Do you have good descriptions? Is it the correct brand? are you valuing and pricing accordingly? Because I'm going to tell you something. People will buy if they're looking for the thing. So there's a couple things. It's being priced too high. There's just not a market for it. And like ultimately it's, or your listing's wrong. Like it's got to be one of those three things playing a part in this. So I'll tell this to anyone. I've answered a question like this before. Make sure your titles and listings are accurate. Make sure you're spelling designers' names accurately. If you don't start your title with the name of the brand of your item, change that immediately. And make sure you're building your titles and descriptions. I did a video on this. I'll link it up here. Make sure you're just building your listing in an appropriate, searchable, unique words to the item or brand way so that people can find your item. $30 to $40, that's like a really good price point in my mind. So like there's a lot of activity in that realm. I think something that you can also keep in mind is if something has been sitting for a long time, relist it, but maybe again, do an analysis of what might be wrong with the listing. Like I said earlier, there could not be nothing wrong with the listing, but then is the price too high? Is there saturation on the market of that item? That happens a lot with brands. And ultimately just, it's something should be selling, but if it doesn't fall within a good listing, a good title, and the price isn't correct, like ultimately it's got to be those items. Like there are things that people will buy from the depths of the earth for $5 and $5 million. So like there's a market for someone to be buying your items in the $30 to $40 range, or more than 40. People spend. With the exception of the Real, because they're a luxury consignment market, I would say Posh is like a pretty trusted luxury purchasing place out of all the secondhand markets. Sometimes eBay, but like that depends on the buyer. That's like a really particular buyer. But I would say of the new age apps, Poshmark is pretty safe. So, and like I said, it's a majority of my business. A little bit of a rant on this question, but I mean, people spend a lot more than $40 with me, so I can't really say. But again, once this video is done, go check your listings, make sure everything's spelled right, start the titles with the brand, and make sure you're using good descriptions. Again, check out that video, okay? So speaking of pricing, actually, and brands, Jolie H said, what are some best-selling brands and what are some new trends? So kind of a loaded question again. Love these loaded questions though. So best-selling brands, I think fellow resellers will agree who've been doing reselling for a while. Me telling you a brand that does well for me doesn't mean it's gonna sell well for you. This is 99.9% always a circumstance that I have found personally. I always kind of give this example. If someone tells me, oh my God, I'm selling a ton of Madewell jeans, and then I go get like 10 pairs of Madewell jeans and then they don't sell. It just depends. Everyone has a different audience. Everyone has different price points, circumstances, ways to sell. What I say as a good brand might not be a good brand for you. There are kind of trending brands, specifically to Poshmark. They do kind of put out like a trendy report. There's also some kind of tried and true brands that will always sell. I would say the quickness and the price point kind of varies a little bit depending on the saturation, but like things like Lululemon, like activewear, things that are being bought consistently right now due to the times. And just in general, activewear is like always a popular category. You can kind of feel a little bit more comfortable making those purchases if that's what you're trying to sell. But I would also, to talk about trends, when they're being talked about, are in the height of that moment. So for me, and I kind of use this with interior design as well, not everyone could do this. Literally not everyone could do this. There are literal people paid to forecast trends. It kind of seems like a silly job, like when you say it out loud, but it's like very real. But when a trend is happening, in my eyes, the trend is done, right? I want to be on the next thing. So I don't necessarily do this for clothes for my personal self because I have no problem wearing something from a past season or something. But ultimately, like forward think of what's coming. Like spring, summer's coming up. I don't think vacationing is going to be a big thing again due to the circumstances. So like, you know, am I going to buy a ton of swimwear? I'll probably buy some swimwear, absolutely. I think people will probably buy pools again. I think people will invest in jacuzzis again, like things that were that seasonal trends. I also think, you know, think outside the box. Like I am one person with perspectives and opinions, but I am not the be all end all of ideas. And, you know, what I might think is trendy might not be for you or might not be at all for someone, but for me it is. So just think about the future and think about how people will be living in the coming months, weeks, year, and implement that into your closet. I guess that's the best way to talk about trends. I'm not gonna like a flare or a wide leg pant. Those were probably trends at one point, but also present day, people still want that look, right? So certain things kind of like go beyond trends and just are like a fashion staple. Will they wear a flare pant every day? Maybe if they're like a little Grace and Frankie hippy dippy, but you know, or a certain look, but it's, you know, people want like that one pair of that sleek flare or wide leg bell bottom situation. Anyway, I digress, but that's pretty good. I hope that answers your question, Jolie. And then Lori L says, what are some ways to stay motivated and refill your spirits? I can get frustrated with reselling. It can be a little disheartening, even sad. I get that. So reselling, I'm a part-time reseller. This is not my full-time income. I think I feel like that as a part-time person, but I also know, and this is part of the reason, that I never want to be full-time, and I've said that many times before on this channel and in interviews and podcast episodes. I don't ever want to feel frustrated from sometimes some things are just like not in your control. And, you know, ways to refill that motivational tank. I think I'm an optimistic person, so I'm an optimistic, forward-thinking person. I've been that way all my life from things that have happened in my life. So what works for me not necessarily will work for you. Like I have an inherent nature to keep moving forward, even if the worst thing on earth has happened. And you know, as I'm saying to this, I'm telling you this video, there is something that recently happened in my life, and I'll share that when I'm ready. But I've got to move on. I've got to keep going. So I think when you're looking for some motivation or trying to get over some frustration, like allow yourself to feel those things. It's okay to feel those things. We're human. That's good. It's good that you're emoting or you're feeling frustration. Like we know you're human, but don't like dwell in it. You know, like again, you have to move on. Like don't stew. Don't dwell. I think I might have just said that, but it's a lot harder said than done, I understand. But just remember, the world will go on with or without you day by day with whatever you're doing. And at the same time, pardon me, the world will support you day by day, whatever you're doing. So the world, I just mean like the environments and surroundings. So just remember that life will continue, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, you know, embrace the moment, be with that moment, but just keep moving forward. Remember things that happen, learn from lessons, learn from mistakes. Just keep going. Just keep going. Listen, frustration happens a lot. Things happen, I get it. And I'm just reading the question. Part of her question says, I really want to believe I can truly build this business into something amazing. So I think we'll end today's video on this last point, because I think I have no problem talking about it, and it's part of the reason I don't want to be full-time. If you can, there's a couple things with this. If you are in a place where you can financially afford to do this full-time, keeping in mind that you have to make enough money for insurance, your rent, your cars, whatever it is, all your expenses, I have the perspective of doing it alone. I have no one in my life to help me in that way. I am single. It's my own income, I don't have a significant other. I don't have a partner in this. I don't have assistance or, some financial flexibility, we'll say, maybe from like, someone who potentially is the breadwinner or someone who can, assist in a slow month, right? I think it's very, very, very important to ensure your finances are set in place to be able to make this a sustainable business for yourself. But also know this is something that will never not require your time. Reselling is a hustle that does not stop. It's available 24/7, 365. Anyone who's full-time will tell you probably if they're growing, the hardest part is the point where they can only do so much as one person, and then, then you need to start looking at things different. They need to start getting pallets, maybe shipping crates, hiring employees, getting bigger space, like depending on where you are in the world, someone living in LA, that's a challenge. That's actually like a big challenge to do because space is so expensive. And again, another reason I did not want to go full time. For those who are not aware, again, this is part-time. I have a very colorful corporate working history, and not corporate, but in my mind, working for yourself can be amazing. And I think for me, working for myself could be something that happens one day, but I just don't think it will be with reselling because it requires constant attention, and the attention sometimes, and a full-time seller will tell you this, the attention to the business sometimes is just not worth it. And when I say that, I mean, you could spend all day on the internet and not make a ton of sales that day, and then there might be a day where you don't spend too much time and then you make a ton of sales. And, part of trying to make this into a beautiful business based on your statement, you have to be willing to be flexible with the highs and lows, with the good inventory, the bad inventory, and things like that. And this is just me being very honest about those circumstances. I wish more people would be a little bit more honest with their perspectives. Not that people are being shady, just I feel like reselling can just be a little smoke and mirror-y. And this is also a reason I'm not doing What Sold. I think I said this in my Sip and Scent on a couple weeks ago, my live. What Solds can be a little deceiving, not like intentionally by nature. I never did it with intention. I was very transparent, but also, there's so many different things that will contribute to making money, right? Why do you need to make the money? What's your price point? Where in the country are you? What's your cost of goods? What's the profit on the goods? What are the taxes in your area? Do you pay sales tax when you go buy your items because you don't need a reseller license? There are so many, do you have an office space? Do you have an employee? There are so many different things when talking about money that it's like me telling you I made $1,000 this week, but my circumstances are completely different than yours. I don't want you to have this false hope that you can get to that 1,000, but you might not have access to all the brands that I have and all the amount of inventory and things like that. So it's there's so many different reasons to talk about it. And from that, and I said this in my video, and we'll work on a video maybe for winter trends. I think instead of a What Sold, good ideas for videos might be what sold best for this month, but not necessarily focusing on the dollar amount, because again, so many people's circumstances are different. You could go to the thrift store and it could be a 50% off sale. You could go to the thrift store and not have a sale, and two people shopping on that same day, one might get 5 items for, I don't know, $30, let's just be crazy, and someone might go and get oh my God, 5 items for $30. Someone might get 15 items for $30. Like, and you can't, like, inherently, if those are, you know, depending on the brands and the pricing, that person with more items could make more money, but at the same time, the other person with less items could make more money. So there's, you know, it's, I didn't want to contribute that kind of thought process anymore, but that kind of went on a tangent. I hope I shed some light on some things and some perspectives. And if you want to be full-time, go do your full-time thing. I have so much respect for people that want to hustle in this way. I just remember it's going to be a hustle, and it doesn't really stop, and you have to be good with your boundaries and motivating yourself to keep it moving. Denali, my friend Denali Alducho, she's full-time. She's been full-time for a few years now, and she's really growing. She's about to get a warehouse space. And she said, listen, if you want to be full-time, the biggest thing is if you're not a self-motivator, you do not get up and start for yourself in a day, that will start to become a problem, because you have to start every day. You have to get up, you have to get going, whether you want to or not. You've got to pay your bills and do it. So that's something that always sticks with me when she says that. So yeah, I hope that was fun. I know this is a long video, but a lot of context, a lot of perspective I wanted to share, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you all for submitting some questions. We'll do this again, maybe in another month or so. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, PoshBossBlake, on TikTok as well. Links will be down in the description for those social medias. And don't forget to like this video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!